Hello, Leo. Welcome back to Eternal Mindfulness, the sanctuary where the universe speaks and your soul listens. Let me ask you something that may shift your entire perception of today. What if I told you that May 10th holds a turning point so powerful, so divinely orchestrated, that it could completely alter your financial destiny? This isn't just another horoscope reading. This is a sacred alignment, and you, Leo, are standing right at the center of it. The energy coming your way is not random, and neither is the fact that you're watching this right now. If you've been seeing angel numbers like 1111, 333, or 888, they're not coincidences. They are confirmations. Confirmations that the universe is whispering, something big is coming. Are you ready? Starting May 10th, a massive money shift is opening specifically for you, Leo. But here's the truth most won't tell you. It's not luck. It's alignment. You've been planting seeds, through your resilience, your growth, your healing. And now, the stars, the sun, and the sacred geometry of your chart are all lining up to bring you a reward that doesn't just show up in your bank account, but in your confidence, your relationships, and your divine purpose. Let's take a moment to breathe in together. Really, breathe. Because what's about to unfold may stir something ancient inside you, a sense that you were made for more, and now, more is finally within reach. If a number just flashed in your mind, don't ignore it. Type it below. That's your angel code. That's the vibration you're tuning into right now. And let me say this from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you. For being here. For giving your energy to this moment. Every like, every comment, every time you hit subscribe, you're not just supporting this channel. You're helping us create a conscious field of abundance, love, and transformation for everyone who finds eternal mindfulness. You are the heartbeat of this community. And Leo, you especially, are being called into something extraordinary. I need you to hear this clearly. You are not here to survive. You are here to shine. And shine so brightly, it wakes up the world around you. So stay with me through the rest of this reading, because in just a moment, we'll unlock the planetary alignments shaping this energetic gateway, the exact actions you can take to harness this money shift, and the unexpected way your intuition will guide you to fortune. Trust me, Leo. You'll want to stay until the very last word, because what the universe is about to reveal might just change the way you see everything. What's unfolding here for Leo is not merely an astrological event, it's a resonance that reflects a cycle long in motion finally arriving at its point of release. When the Sun, Leo's ruling force, aligns with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, generosity, and reward, it doesn't simply bring luck. It amplifies everything you've already cultivated internally. Like a field that has been tilled, sown, and watered for months, this is the moment when the seeds of effort and intention begin to break through the surface and bear fruit. It's not magic. It's momentum. You see, what may appear as a sudden wave of financial opportunity is, in fact, the natural result of your energy aligning with clarity. Whether it's an unexpected refund, a surprise bonus, or the invitation to invest in something that feels intuitively right, none of these are accidents. They are responses to your readiness. The world, after all, doesn't simply give us what we want. It offers us what we are prepared to hold. There's a quiet wisdom in learning how to receive what's already circling us. Just as rain falls on all land but only nourishes the soil that has been softened and opened, this financial momentum requires openness. It asks you to let go of the inner grasping that chases abundance and instead become a vessel that it can freely enter. This is not about chasing wealth. This is about becoming the kind of presence that wealth feels safe to approach. And how do we do that? It begins with acknowledgement. Acknowledging that your efforts, both tangible and unseen, have value. Acknowledging that what flows into your life from here on is not a fluke or a test, but a mirror, an echo of your courage, your patience, and your quiet acts of perseverance. There's a saying that reminds us, a single drop of water, falling in stillness, can ripple through an entire lake. Likewise, a shift in your belief about what you're worthy of can ripple through your entire financial landscape. Affirmation, then, is not just a motivational phrase, it's a reprogramming of the inner climate. When you say aloud, "Money flows to me easily, quickly, and from unexpected sources," you're not just wishing for something. You are creating the condition for it to arrive. Like a tuning fork setting the pitch for everything around it, your repeated words create harmony between your energy and the opportunities life presents. Visualization is the next sacred step. It's not child's play or fantasy, it's a mental rehearsal of what's already on the way. When you craft your vision board and gaze upon it with gratitude in advance, you step into the role of co-creator. You say to the universe, "I recognize this timeline. I'm ready to live it." That feeling of already having what you desire is not arrogance. It's alignment. Because when you begin to feel full now, you're no longer leaking energy into the void of not enough. And that shift changes everything. What May 10th offers you, Leo, is not just external gain. It's a test of internal permission. Can you allow abundance to meet you without fear or self-doubt? Can you hold the joy of receiving without guilt? This moment is not about deserving more. It's about remembering you've always been worthy, and now, the time has come to step into it. You don't need to strive harder. You need to soften. You don't need to chase the current. You need to rise with it. Let the alignment of the Sun and Jupiter be your reminder. When the right energies converge, all you must do is say yes, with your heart, your hands, and your habits. That's how wealth flows. And that's how your next chapter begins. What we often refer to as a financial breakthrough is rarely just about numbers or luck. It's an outer expression of an inner readiness. When we speak of this wave of prosperity arriving for Leo, marked by the Sun's alignment with Jupiter, it's not about sudden fortune falling from the sky. It's about the momentum you've been building, quietly and consistently, perhaps even without realizing it. This is the moment where your efforts, intentions, and clarity begin to take form in a tangible way. And while money is the obvious language the universe may use now, what's really shifting is your relationship with receiving. You've probably heard that what you resist, persists. This applies deeply to abundance. Often, it's not lack that limits us, but our own grasping, our own clinging to ideas of control or worth. We imagine we must earn everything through struggle, that ease is somehow suspicious or undeserved. But if the universe speaks in balance, in harmony, in cause and effect, then receiving when the time is ripe is as natural as an apple falling from the tree when it's ready. You don't pull it down. You simply stand beneath it with open hands. This is a phase in which Leo is being asked to lean into trust. Trust not only in the cosmic timing, but in your own capacity to hold what's coming. To welcome it without guilt. To use it not as a distraction, but as a tool for stability and joyful creation. The alignment between the Sun and Jupiter here serves almost like a mirror, reflecting back the truth that what you've longed for isn't ahead of you, but already within reach because you've done the internal work. And yet, action is still required. Not frantic effort, but conscious participation. The practice of setting affirmations and visualizing your goals each morning is more than a motivational exercise. It's a way of aligning your mind with the frequency of what you desire. When you declare, "Money flows to me easily, quickly, and from unexpected sources," you're not begging. You're calibrating. You're reminding your subconscious that abundance isn't a stranger, it's familiar, safe, and allowed. The concept of familiarity is essential here. In teachings of awareness and presence, there's the idea that suffering often arises not from pain itself, but from resistance to the unfamiliar. When abundance shows up and we're not emotionally familiar with feeling supported, secure, or recognized, it can trigger discomfort. We might sabotage it, delay it, or question it. But when you make prosperity a state of being, rather than a future event, you remove that resistance. You stop treating it as foreign, and start allowing it to settle in. This is why visual reminders, vision boards, written intentions, gratitude journals, aren't just tools for dreamers. They are grounding mechanisms. They help your nervous system adjust to the feeling of already having. They create space for the mind to rest in sufficiency. You begin to embody enoughness. And as you do, your actions, choices, and even the way you walk into a room start to reflect that sense of fullness. You become magnetic, not by trying harder, but by needing less. The deeper message here is one of release. Let go of the belief that struggle must precede every gain. Let go of the idea that abundance must come with anxiety, complexity, or sacrifice. You are being invited to remember something more refined, that stillness, readiness, and focused presence are more effective than force. The current that carries you now is not demanding speed, it's asking for flow. And as you align with that quiet current, opportunities will begin to rise to meet you like the tide meeting the shore, naturally and without resistance. When we speak of money, especially in moments of energetic alignment like the one Leo is moving through now, we are not only referring to currency or wealth as a means to an end. We're talking about relationship, your relationship with value, with security, with worth. For Leo, a sign ruled by the sun, generosity is second nature. You give love freely, offer your presence wholeheartedly, and express your essence in radiant ways. But when it comes to receiving, especially receiving money in a conscious and sustainable way, there is often an invisible barrier, the belief that money is either unimportant or untrustworthy. That belief is the very thing this phase is asking you to gently question. Money, like anything we wish to flow into our lives, responds not to demand, but to respect. Not to pressure, but to presence. When you treat money not as an anxious chase or a fleeting thrill, but as something worthy of mindful attention, like a conversation with a trusted friend, it begins to behave differently. It becomes calmer. It stays longer. It returns more often. Because you've stopped treating it like a stranger and started inviting it into your life with clarity and intention. This is why simple, intentional practices, like setting aside a savings account for things that nourish your inner growth, are not just financial strategies. They are symbolic declarations. When you create space for money to support your well-being, you're affirming that prosperity and peace can coexist. That you are not just earning to survive, but to live deeply. 10 minutes a week spent reviewing your budget might not sound revolutionary, but if done with presence, it becomes a meditation on responsibility. You're telling your resources, I see you. I appreciate you. I'll take care of you. The ritual of lighting a green candle each Friday might appear small, but color, rhythm, and intention carry their own intelligence. Green is the vibration of growth. Friday is ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, abundance, and harmony. By combining these elements regularly, you train your mind to associate wealth with rhythm, reverence, and peace. You shift the narrative from financial chaos to conscious creation. Even something as mundane as buying a lottery ticket can become meaningful when reframed. If you do it from lack, you amplify fear. But if you do it from joy, from playful curiosity, from a place of spiritual participation, it becomes an act of alignment, not desperation. You are not expecting a miracle outside yourself. You are affirming that miracles meet you when you are open, present, and attuned. At the core of this shift is the understanding that wealth is not something to be hoarded or feared. It is energy, constantly responding to your internal climate. And like any form of energy, it thrives where there is space, respect, and flow. The more you soften around your beliefs about money, the more room there is for new possibilities to arise. Just like the principle that a clenched hand cannot receive, a guarded mindset cannot truly welcome abundance. You are being invited to rewrite your personal definition of prosperity. Not as something external you must chase, but as a state of openness, dignity, and generosity that begins within. From that inner alignment, outward circumstances begin to reorganize. You make different choices. You attract different opportunities. You interpret events not as tests or threats, but as invitations to grow your capacity. And in this stillness, this honoring, you may find that money isn't just about having more, but about becoming someone who knows exactly how to use it, share it, and let it flow through life as naturally as breath. When that happens, you don't need to ask money to stay. It stays because it feels at home with you. As financial energy begins to move more freely in your life, another kind of awareness quietly rises to the surface, the recognition that wealth, without connection, can feel strangely hollow. While prosperity brings comfort, choice, and possibility, it also magnifies the emotional terrain you stand on. If there are cracks in trust, fear around vulnerability, or unspoken needs within your closest relationships, abundance won't fix them, it will illuminate them. That's why now, as Leo begins to embody a new frequency of material growth, it's essential to bring the same care and mindfulness into matters of the heart. When we talk about love and money together, it's not about materialism. It's about resonance. The way two people align in their values, their hopes for the future, and their willingness to be honest about both dreams and doubts. Financial intimacy can be just as powerful, and just as tender, as emotional intimacy. When couples co-create their financial vision, it becomes more than a spreadsheet. It becomes a mirror of shared values. A space where support and transparency replace assumptions and silence. Having a joint fund for a dream, whether it's a home, a journey, or a project, isn't just about saving. It's about building something together. It says, I see a future with you, and I want to invest in it, not just emotionally, but with real-world intention. And this shared energy often becomes a protective field. When you plan together, it's harder to drift apart. Because both people are rooted in something bigger than themselves. On the other hand, if you're walking this chapter solo, that too is sacred. Because this is a time to cultivate the kind of inner wealth that magnetizes real partnership, not from a place of lack or longing, but from fullness. When you know your own worth, your boundaries soften without collapsing. You don't seek someone to fill the gaps. You seek someone who resonates with your light. There is a quiet wisdom that says, you attract what you already are. And that's especially true now. The more you become a safe space for yourself, financially, emotionally, spiritually, the more likely you are to draw in someone who reflects that same safety. That's not magic. That's alignment. That's the reward of living in tune with your truth. In some contemplative paths, it's said that love without awareness becomes attachment, and money without awareness becomes burden. But love that flows from clarity, and wealth that flows from intention, become tools of freedom. They stop being sources of tension and start becoming channels of shared growth. That shift doesn't happen overnight. It comes from consistent presence. From asking, am I showing up with openness? Am I listening as deeply as I speak? Am I allowing myself to be seen, not just in my achievements, but in my questions and complexities? Right now, as Leo steps into a higher state of visibility and reward, it's important to carry the heart along for the journey. To remember that your success isn't separate from your emotional life, it's intertwined with it. When your heart feels held, your energy flows more freely. When your relationships are built on honesty and co-creation, abundance becomes more sustainable. It doesn't slip through your fingers. It becomes a shared current, lifting both people higher. And for those sensing a new connection on the horizon, trust that your clarity will act as a filter. The more grounded you are in your own values, the easier it becomes to recognize someone who is truly aligned. Someone who sees you not as a trophy or savior, but as a whole being. A partner. A mirror. A match. So whether you're sharing your path or walking it solo, let love and money support one another, not compete. Let both be expressions of care, not control. And remember, the more you nurture what's within, the more effortlessly the outer world begins to reflect it back. We often think of abundance as something that flows in from the outside, through opportunities, connections, or financial shifts, but the truth is, abundance flows through you. It depends entirely on your capacity to receive it, and that capacity begins with your physical and energetic well-being. For Leo, a sign ruled by the sun, radiance is natural. But radiance isn't sustained by appearance, it's sustained by vitality. The clearer your energy, the sharper your instincts. The more grounded your body, the more expansive your awareness becomes. Wealth, then, becomes less about chasing and more about noticing, being alert to when life is handing you a yes. There's a quiet connection between physical clarity and mental readiness. When your body is sluggish, your mind becomes foggy. But when you care for your system like the sacred vessel it is, you naturally begin to move in sync with life's rhythm. One simple practice, drinking warm water with lemon each morning, has deeper meaning than most realize. The liver, often regarded as the seat of purification, also holds on to suppressed emotions. By beginning your day with this gentle detox, you're not just aiding digestion. You're symbolically telling your body, I'm ready to release. I'm ready to let go of what no longer serves. Movement matters too, not for aesthetics, but for alignment. Practices like yoga, especially power poses that open the chest and root the legs, speak directly to Leo's solar nature. Standing like a warrior isn't about performance, it's about embodiment. When your spine is tall, your breath deep, and your shoulders open, you become a physical channel for confidence. Your nervous system relaxes, and your inner fire stabilizes. You become magnetic without even trying. This is how Leo shines best, from a place of steady, open presence. Stillness also plays a crucial role. When you spend even 10 minutes each evening in quiet meditation, visualizing a golden spiral of energy around your heart center, you're doing more than calming your mind. You're nourishing your core, activating the part of you that recognizes truth, perceives opportunity, and holds the wisdom to discern. In many traditions, the heart is considered the seat of clarity, not the intellect. And when you strengthen this center through regular attention, you naturally begin to make better decisions, not out of fear or pressure, but from deep inner knowing. Crystals, too, can support this energetic alignment, not as magical objects, but as tools for focus. Citron is long associated with prosperity, not because it creates wealth, but because its frequency helps you stay open to the vibration of expansion. Tiger's eye supports mental discipline, a quality Leo sometimes overlooks when passion takes over. It anchors your energy when it starts to scatter. Sunstone, vibrant and warm, mirrors the solar power of Leo itself. It invites joy, stamina, and self-belief, especially when self-doubt begins to whisper. At the root of all these practices is a single idea: abundance flows where your energy flows. And energy cannot flow through tension, fatigue, or emotional clutter. When your body is nourished, your emotions acknowledged, and your attention reclaimed, you don't have to chase wealth. You simply become someone who is ready to receive it. That readiness is a discipline, but it's also a devotion, a quiet commitment to being fully here, fully alive, and fully open. Like water settling in a still pond, the greatest clarity comes when we stop rushing. When we treat our own energy field with the same reverence we often reserve for sacred spaces, we become the vessel that life wants to pour into. Not because we pushed harder, but because we finally made room. You've made it to the end of this journey, and I know that's no small thing. If you're still here, it means something in your heart recognized these words not as mere predictions, but as a mirror, reflecting the power, the clarity, and the transformation already awakening within you. Everything you've just heard, every insight you've gathered, wasn't meant to entertain you. It was meant to remind you that you're not broken, that you're not behind, that your abundance, real, lasting, soul-aligned abundance, doesn't live in someone else's hands. It lives in the way you choose to show up for yourself, starting now. Money, as you've learned, is not just paper or numbers. It's energy. It listens to your patterns. It responds to your presence. It mirrors how much space you allow yourself to receive. So if you've been living in a state of contraction, doubt, or fear around finances, this is your invitation to soften. To begin a new chapter not by fixing everything overnight, but by choosing one single action today that affirms your worth. Maybe it's drinking your lemon water and setting an intention. Maybe it's opening that savings account you've been avoiding. Maybe it's just taking 5 quiet minutes to visualize the life you know you're meant to live. Because here's the truth no one tells you enough. You don't have to force your way into wealth. You have to become the version of you who can welcome it. You already have the spark. You already have the map. What you need now is the courage to walk the path. Even if it's just one step at a time. So I ask you now, what is that one step you're going to take? Not later. Not someday. Today. Say it out loud. Or even better, type it in the comments. Let the universe witness your decision. Let this moment be more than just another video. It can be your turning point. And if you felt something shift during our time together, something subtle, something true, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with someone you love. Someone who may also be waiting for a sign, for a door to open, for permission to believe in more. Maybe you are the channel through which their light returns. And to all the Leos out there, thank you. Thank you for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. Every like, every comment, every time you subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, you're not just supporting a channel. You're becoming part of a community that believes growth is sacred, change is possible, and your light is not just welcome here, it's needed. You were never meant to chase light, Leo. You are the light. And now that you've remembered, it's time to shine, not for anyone's approval, not for validation, but because your soul has waited long enough. Now go. Act. Speak. Shine. And if the universe whispered a number to you during this reading, a number that keeps repeating, showing up in clocks, receipts, license plates, drop it in the comments. That's your angel code. That's your confirmation. That's your alignment. You're not waiting for a miracle. You are already becoming it.